Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking this morning at a book in the Butterworth's LexisNexis series. This is the Common Law series, and it's on the Law of Contempt. It's called Borrie and Lowe, the Law of Contempt. It's now in the 4th edition, and its general editor is Professor Cram, and there are a very large number of people who contributed. The book itself, in about 800 pages, has 17 chapters, detailed chapters, a couple of appendices at the back. It's a standard work for Butterworths. You've got paragraph numbering, which you can see at the side. Then there are some detailed footnotes, and I think one of the things that's very helpful about this is the extensive use of case law. There is a very detailed index at the back, which I've also found very helpful. Now, my wife Elizabeth and I have written this review, and it's on Flickr and on the internet generally, and you'll find it obviously in a whole range of different areas. And we've given the review title, Be You Ever So High, the Law is Above You, especially the Law of Contempt. So let me just explain. Without a law of contempt, or contempt of court as we know it, the judicial system would simply not exist. There are those who might claim that the law of contempt is a judicial invention which has evolved to mete out punishment to those who affront the dignity of court. But on reflection, such a law must exist and prevail, not only in the words of Lord Justice Stephen Sedley, who writes the foreword to this, to protect the courts, and now the unified tribunals too, from the corruption or debasement of their role, but also to maintain the power of enforcement of court orders. And that's of course the biggest problem we have as practitioners, is actually enforcing orders of the court, as many will know. Quoting Lord President Clyde in the introduction, the matter is examined further in that the offence, contempt of court, consists in interfering with the administration of the law, in impeding and perverting the course of justice. It's not the dignity of the court which is offended, it's the fundamental supremacy of the law which is challenged, and that's really the heart of the common law concept. So since the last edition of Borrie and Lowe, which is 15 years ago, radical changes have occurred in what editor Professor Cram refers to as the technological and constitutional environment, i.e. IT, the advent of course of the Human Rights Act and the manifold implications of that piece of legislation, even though the proposed repeal or reform of the Act has fallen a bit by the wayside. Interesting, there's a commentary on Wither the Human Rights Act in chapter 17, but as I produce this review, it's clear that there's not going to be much movement on reform at this stage because of the coalition government. Another departure from the previous 3rd edition, which was written in its entirety by just the 2 authors, it's the new edition which brings together the work of a team of academics listed at the front and specialist practitioners in all experts of the field, and therefore the resulting diversity of interpretations and viewpoints is absolutely fascinating. Can I just also say that part of the excellent Butterworth's Common Law series, this book is one of the main stalwarts in my view, because we would normally see this sort of work on the judicial bench, with its clear, authoritative approach, which obviously emerges in our view as the definitive reference for a law of contempt for legal practitioners, judges and academics. It's logically structured in the 6 parts, 800 pages, and covers all the sort of things that you would be specifically looking for. There's an interesting one, the protection of journalist sources, in part 6. And as you'd expect, the book contains a wealth of useful research tools, including extensive tables of cases, statutes, obviously I've shown you that. There's also a good index at the back, and the 2 appendices cover the main legislation, Contempt of Court Act 1981 and the Human Rights Act. So, to summarise, the book's scholarship and topicality, as at August 2010, makes it a must-purchase decision for all practitioners, be you ever so high. Thank you very much to Butterworth and Professor Cram and his team for an excellent new edition. Bye-bye.